Hello, this is Women's Right Movement by Jordan Gillette. The women's right movement is said to span from 1848 to 1920, but continued for decades after. The movement sought equal rights, opportunities, and personal freedom for women, and this does include voting rights. Elizabeth Stanton, Susan Anthony, and Lucretta Mott started this movement. In 1848, the first Women's Right Convention was held in Seneca Falls. These women believed that all women should have the rights and privileges that belong to them as citizens of the United States. In 1851, the famous speech, "Ain't I a Woman" by Sojourner Truth was delivered at a women's right convention. This speech advocated for women to be treated equal to men. The 14th Amendment gave voting rights to male citizens and was extended to African American males, but not to females. In 1872, Susan Anthony registered and voted in the presidential election. She was arrested, tried, and convicted for doing so. And in 1877, the Women's Suffrage Amendment was introduced but not acted on. In 1890, the NAWSA, the National American Women's Suffrage Association, was formed to advocate for women's suffrage and the right to vote. Protesters marched in Washington, D.C. in support of this, and here is a short clip from that march.
On March 3, 1913, protesters parted for the woman in white. Dressed in a flowing cape and sitting astride a white horse, the activist, Inez Milholland, was hard to miss. She was riding at the helm of the Women's Suffrage Parade, the first mass protest for a woman's right to vote on a national scale. After months of strategic planning and controversy, thousands of women gathered in Washington, D.C. Here, they called for a constitutional amendment granting them the right to vote.
In 1916, the first woman, Jeannette Rankin, was elected to the House of Representatives. And finally, in 1920, the 19th Amendment granted the women the right to vote, winning much of the women's rights movement efforts. In 1932, Hattie Carway is the first woman to be elected to the Senate. And we had Title IX of the Education Amendment that prohibited sex discrimination in any education program. Just recently, in 2021, we saw the first female vice president, Kamala Harris. Thank you for watching.